Hi guys, welcome back to the Shannon Show. Hello if you're new. So today's video is going to be a review of the documentary Becoming, which we all know is about Michelle Obama. Feel free to comment down below your thoughts on my commentary. I'm always up for a chat, I'm always up for a debate. And if you like this video, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. No hard feelings. So let's get into the review. So going into this, I was pretty excited. Michelle Obama, of course, an iconic woman. She's definitely somebody that I look up to. So what I was hoping for was, of course, Becoming. I know that's the name of her autobiography. I thought we're probably going to get some bits of her tour in there, but I also thought those bits in her tour were going to link in with her autobiography, get a more personal look of her life. That was my hopes going into this documentary. So in terms of the content you can expect from this documentary, you can expect to see snippets of her on her tour and her being interviewed by various celebrities on her tour, namely Tracee Ellis Ross, Oprah, Gayle King, amongst others. We also see her interacting with fans, and we also get to see like how much these interactions mean to fans and her herself. She says that she really appreciates these connections with her fans. And we also see her interacting with the community, interacting with the church, lots of community stuff. And we also get to see a bit more of her family outside of the kind of Obama sphere. So her mother, her brother. I think a lot of people almost forget that she isn't just Obama's wife, she isn't just Malia and Sasha's mom. She actually has her own family. She has a mother, she has a brother, you know, like any other normal person. So I like that they had that family interaction in there. And of course she touches on her family, her relationship with Obama, which I thought was really sweet. I really liked that part of the documentary. We see Obama cracking jokes, cracking his charm. And they also talk about the ups and downs of their relationships and how they went to counselling and, you know, the power struggle between them, because they were both successful people in their field of work. But obviously when children started to get involved, you know, friction started to happen in terms of sacrifices. And I think that happens a lot in families. Who's the person that is going to be taking a back seat at work when you can't afford a nanny? I personally haven't gone through that in my life. Hopefully I don't have to. But I think a lot of couples are going to be able to relate to that. And I think a lot of, you know, Obama stans are definitely going to enjoy that segment of the documentary. And we do see a little snippet of the daughters. We only see a little bit of Sasha. We see a bit more of Malia. I will say there was this one bit where Malia and Obama was talking, and, you know, Malia was talking very slow, and she seemed very mellow. That's all I will say. It was very interesting. You also see some of her friends in the documentary speaking about her, and also her security, which I thought was quite interesting, who was on her security detail when she was in the White House. And she also touches on her upbringing as well, having a working class upbringing. And she paints this picture of her being very close with her family, and how her family were very supportive of her, and they kind of pushed them towards excellence because of the barriers that they face in society. And I guess, you know, through the generations you expect, especially, you know, black people, they expect the next generation to do better than them, because obviously conditions improve gradually over time, so they expect you to do better than what they did with the limitations that they had, which I think was quite interesting. At home she felt like she belonged, but then when she got out into the real world, she kind of felt herself being othered. She was discouraged from her teachers, telling her she couldn't go to a good college, telling her to lower her expectations. And I think a lot of people are definitely going to be able to relate to that. I remember I once got told that I would struggle with A-levels and I should perhaps pick a easier qualification than A-levels. And I ended up getting great A-level grades. So yes, she was. And and it reminded me of that situation, because people just be trifling and hating. And I think that's definitely why a lot of black women can relate to Michelle Obama, because she was viewed as an underdog despite her being the best. It kind of links off to another segment that we see, when we see her kind of doing community work, talking to young people, and she talks to, and this young black lady who's a student asks her, how do you deal with being invisible to the world? as a black woman? And Michelle's answer was the invisibility starts with yourself. You know, you can't wait for a society that doesn't want to recognize you to see you. You have to make that platform for yourself. You have to make yourself be seen. We can tell people to see us, to tell them what we deserve, but realistically we're probably not going to achieve equality amongst races in our lifetime. So you just have to stop trying to seek validation and just be popping, you know? Obviously it's nice to get that recognition, it's nice to get that validation, but you can't rely on that. And I think that is a great message. Obviously there is definitely work in society that needs to be done, but I also believe that you can't wait around screaming for people to recognize you. You just gotta just do your own thing and be the best you that you can be, you know? I think that's a great message. And she also touches on her experience going to Princeton and how it was the first time for her being a minority, because where she lived in Chicago was, you know, a very black area. So she had never felt like a minority up until that point. And again, I think that's definitely going to be relatable to some people. I've always been a minority, whatever institution that I went to. And when I went to film school, there was only 3 black people in the whole entire year. I'm kind of used to it, but you know, it can get daunting, and I've had people underestimate me or feel like they can treat me a certain way. It's definitely going to be a lot of things that black people and perhaps even other people of colour can relate to. And of course it also touches on the campaign trail, her time in the White House, and you know, her state of mind, because the media was really going at it for Michelle Obama. She was vilified, she was called all sorts of names, and she kind of speaks a bit about the effect it had on her and how she felt like she couldn't, you know, be free with her speech, and how she had to be a bit more scripted because anything that she said would have been taken out of context, and how it deeply affected her. Like she said, like it hurt her soul. And honestly, I don't even think I could imagine what Michelle Obama went through. And it's no surprise that she seems very happy about not having to be there anymore. It seems like the whole family are happy not to be in the White House anymore. Coinciding that, she also does touch on racism as well. She mentions, you know, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Sandra Bland, and she references that in context to the race relations in America, how America viewed black people as a threat, and she kind of linked that to the abuse that they received while they were in the White House, and kind of alluded to the fact that that's why Obama maybe lost the House on his second term. And she also, you know, she pointed some fingers as well at non-voters. Low voter turnout is, you know, minorities, women and young people, and she basically said the people that didn't vote are worse than the people who voted for Trump. I don't know, that might be a little bit controversial. What do you guys think? I definitely think people should do their part and vote, but I'm not sure if I personally wouldn't make that equivalence. It's disappointing, but I wouldn't say that they were worse than, say, Trump supporters. She also touches on the progress that she made in the White House, namely the gay rights, and she said she was happy to make that progress. I think she also touched on kind of like sexism as well, because she made a point that it seemed like people were focusing more on her outfits in the White House than what she was actually saying. And you know what? From what I can remember from the coverage, I remember them talking about her fashion more than what she was actually saying in her speeches. I think it's very clear that sexism plays a part in that. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Do you feel like sexism does play a part there, or do you feel like Michelle's outfits were just too good not to talk about? What do you guys think? Another thing that I thought was quite interesting is that I didn't know that she played piano. I thought that was a nice little inclusion there. In terms of how I feel like everything was structured, I wasn't the best fan of how it was structured. I feel like it definitely could have flowed a bit more smoothly. And I'm not going to lie, I would have liked to have had more of a personal feel with Michelle, because it kind of just felt like we were just kind of seeing her in action on stage with the whole Becoming tour. And then when we did have one-on-one time with her, it was very surface level, it was very fleeting. She gave us some information, but it didn't feel very personal when we had one-on-one time with her. The things that she was saying I could relate to, but it didn't really feel like I was having a conversation with her. It kind of just felt like she was talking at me through the TV. So I think I definitely maybe would have liked less of them following her backstage at the Becoming tour. And I feel like with the whole Becoming tour thing, I think I would have liked the coverage more if it linked in with her life, so we had more of a autobiography feel rather than, okay, we're promoting her Becoming book, but then we're going to put some little bits in there that they'll like. That's what I kind of felt like the narrative structure was. They had a lot of snippets with the community in it, and some of it just felt very performative. It kind of just felt like, okay, you're going to be speaking to this marginalized group today, and we're going to have the camera there to get some footage for the documentary. That's what some of it kind of felt like, and like I said, I would have liked more of a personal feel from it. But what did you guys think? Did you like it? Did you like the structure of it? Did you like how much we kind of saw her in the tour? Or were you kind of expecting something a bit more personal? In terms of the cinematography was standard kind of documentary camera work. I personally would have liked something a bit more stylized, but you know, it was a solid documentary job. I think maybe they tried to make it seem a bit more personal. Maybe that's why they went with the kind of standard documentary camera style. It's not a cinematic documentary. Score was okay as well. I think overall, it was a pretty safe documentary, and I think what is quite interesting is that she said that she wanted to connect with people because she wanted to relate with them in an unsanitized way, because most of her life, you know, when she was the First Lady, most of her connections were very sanitized. And it's quite ironic because this documentary feels very sanitized. It feels very safe. It feels very... we were getting bits of Michelle, but we weren't getting the real Michelle, in my opinion. So I think taking everything into account, I'm going to give this documentary a 2.5 out of 5. Would I recommend watching it? Because it's Michelle Obama, I would say yes, watch it. I mean, it's Michelle Obama. Let's support Michelle Obama. But I'd say if you weren't necessarily the biggest Michelle Obama fan, then I would say maybe not prioritize. I wouldn't necessarily prioritize it, but if you were a big Michelle Obama fan, I think you can definitely still get something out of it. But I think even you might just be a little bit underwhelmed or disappointed. I was definitely expecting a little bit more, and I think this shouldn't be the last documentary that she does. I think we're definitely going to need another one that's a bit more personal, if she wants to do that, of course. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, do let me know if this is something that you were or are looking to watch. And if you have watched it, let me know what you thought about it and what you would rate it out of 5. As always, let me know what you thought about my review. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you have, don't forget to press that notification bell so you know when the next review is dropping. Till next time, guys. Bye.